The signal from the edge of Space Commander Raylan sat alone in the control room of his ship, the Starfire Eagle. Stars passed quietly outside the window. The galaxy was calm here, far away from the chaos of war. His mission was simple: study space signals and return to Earth. Nothing dangerous, nothing exciting, just a quiet trip. But that changed. A sudden beep broke the silence. It was a weak signal. Strange. It didn't match any known language or code. Raylan leaned closer. "Computer," he said. "Where is that signal coming from?" "Calculating," the ship's AI answered. "Signal origin, Sector 7K. Warning, sector marked as war zone. Entry is not advised." Raylan frowned. Sector 7K had been destroyed months ago in a massive alien war. No one survived. Or so they said. He played the signal again. This time, he heard something different, faint voices. Scared, crying voices. Children. "Computer, analyze audio. Analysis complete. Sound patterns match human child distress. Confidence 86%. His heart skipped a beat. Humans? Children? Alive? In a dead war zone? Raylan stood up. "Prepare the ship for jump. Set course for Sector 7K. Command not recommended," the AI warned. "Danger level, extreme." He stared at the star map. "We can't ignore it, someone's out there." The engines roared to life, and in moments the Starfire Eagle jumped into hyperspace. Space twisted around the ship as it crossed thousands of light years in seconds. Soon the stars looked different, darker, colder. As they entered the war zone, the sky seemed broken, full of floating wreckage and dead ships. The computer spoke again. "Approaching signal source, 300 kilometers away, landing possible." Raylan looked out. The planet below was in ruins, gray, lifeless. Smoke still rose from shattered cities. Nothing moved, no signs of life, except for the signal. He landed the ship carefully near what looked like an old school or hospital. The building was half destroyed. Part of it had collapsed. Still, the signal was strongest here. Raylan grabbed his scanner and walked out. The wind was dry. Dust blew everywhere. The silence was heavy. Inside the building, broken toys and books were scattered on the floor. Walls were cracked. He moved slowly, scanning for life signs. "Nothing," he whispered. "Just ghosts." Then he heard it. A soft sound. A sob. He turned sharply. "Hello? Is someone there?" No answer. He followed the sound down a dark hallway. There, hidden behind a broken wall, was a metal door, old and rusted, but still locked. He knocked. "This is Commander Raylan. I'm human. I'm here to help." Silence, then a voice. "Are you real?" It was a small, scared voice. A child. "Yes," Raylan said gently. "You're safe now." The door opened slowly. Behind it, 5 children stood. Their clothes were torn, their faces pale and dirty. They looked like they hadn't eaten in days. The oldest was maybe 10 years old. The youngest, just a baby in someone's arms. They stared at him with wide eyes. One of them whispered, "We thought no one was coming." Raylan knelt down. "You're not alone anymore. I'll get you out of here." The kids didn't move. They looked tired, broken. He handed them water and food packs. They ate in silence. One small boy clung to Raylan's arm, afraid to let go. Suddenly, the scanner beeped again. New signal. Multiple moving objects in the sky. "Computer," he said through his comms. "What's coming?" "Unidentified ships. Closing fast. Hostile pattern likely." Raylan stood quickly. "We need to leave. Now." He carried the baby while the others followed close. Outside in the sky, dark shapes were moving. Alien scout ships. They were scanning the area. Raylan guided the children through ruins and back to his ship. Every step felt heavy. If the scouts saw them, it would be over. They reached the Starfire Eagle. Just before entering, one little girl tugged Raylan's sleeve. They came before, she whispered. They burned everything. We hid. He looked into her eyes. I won't let that happen again. The ship's doors closed behind them, and he lifted off slowly, using silent mode to avoid detection. But the alien scouts had noticed something. They turned. The computer warned, enemy ships approaching, 2 minutes to intercept. Raylan took the controls. Then we don't have time to run. He stared into the stars ahead. I have kids to protect, he whispered. And I'm not leaving anyone behind. War ruins and silent cries, the ship flew low, gliding over a city of bones and shadows. Broken towers leaned against each other like tired giants. Streets were covered in ash. Once this place was alive, full of families, laughter, dreams. Now, only silence lived here. Commander Raylan stared through the cockpit window. He had landed, but he didn't feel safe. The 5 children sat behind him, quiet and tired. Their eyes watched everything. They didn't cry. They didn't speak. It was like they had forgotten how. The baby slept in a small carrier held by the oldest girl, Mila. She looked no older than 10, but her eyes were too old for her face. Computer, Raylan said, scan for shelter. Underground, safe from sky scanners. The AI responded. Abandoned metro tunnel located nearby, 0.5 kilometers northeast. Possible entrance through collapsed library. He stood up. We can't stay in the ship. They'll find us. We move. Fast and quiet. The kids nodded without asking why. The sun never truly rose here. The sky was a dark red, filled with smoke from long-dead fires. Every step crunched broken glass and metal. Raylan led the children past blackened buildings, burned-out tanks, and skeletons of alien machines. As they reached the library ruins, he saw it, a dark hole in the ground where the earth had caved in. He jumped down first, then helped each child one by one. Inside, the air was cold and damp. They walked through empty tunnels. Old train tracks ran through the dark like veins. Suddenly, Mila whispered, "This is where we hid before, when the war started." Raylan turned his head. "How did you survive?" She looked at him. Her voice was soft but steady. "Our teacher brought us down here. She said she'd come back. She never did." He didn't ask more. Not yet. Deep in the tunnel, they found a broken train car tipped on its side. It was dusty but safe. Raylan set up small lights and gave the kids food. He checked their health, bruises, cuts, weakness. But they were strong in the way only survivors are. While the children rested, he explored deeper into the tunnel. Every shadow felt alive. He moved carefully. Then he heard something, metal scraping. He stopped, listened. A slow, dragging sound. Then silence. Then a whisper. Not human. He backed away quietly, returned to the train car and sealed the door. Something's down here, he told himself. We're not alone. Later, Mila sat next to him while the others slept. They used to come down here, she said suddenly. Who? The hunters. Tall, black armor, no eyes. They didn't walk. They floated. They could smell fear. Raylan looked at her. And you still survived? She nodded. We stopped talking. We stopped moving. Even the baby didn't cry. He shook his head, amazed. You're braver than most soldiers I know. She didn't smile. We were just afraid. Then, an alarm. The ship's sensor, still connected through Raylan's wristband, sent a signal. Enemy patrol detected. 6 units near the ship. He stood quickly. They found us. Raylan made a decision. He couldn't stay. Couldn't hide anymore. If they stayed underground and the patrol found the ship, their only way out would be destroyed. Mila, he said, I need to go back, alone. I'll draw them away. No, she said. They'll kill you. Not if I'm fast. He gave her a small handheld scanner. If I don't come back in 1 hour, take the others and follow this map. There's a resistance outpost 2 days north. They'll help. Her hand shook, but she took the scanner. Then quietly she said something that froze Raylan in place. "You don't know, do you? They're not just soldiers. They collect children. For something worse." He stared at her. "What do you mean?" "They don't kill us, they take us, and no one sees them again." Raylan didn't answer. He just ran. Through the tunnels. Back up into the burning city. Each turn felt heavier. Each breath sharper. He was not just saving lives now. He was stealing them back from something dark. Something unknown. At the ship, the patrol had already landed. 6 figures in black armor stood around the Starfire Eagle. Tall, inhuman. No eyes. Just smooth helmets that hummed softly. One of them reached toward the ship's hatch. Raylan acted fast. He threw a sonic flare across the street, a blinding flash. The figures turned. He fired his pulse gun not to kill but to distract. He ran to the left, away from the children, into the city's ruins. They followed. All 6. He ran fast, diving through broken buildings, over cars, through alleys. They chased him like shadows, silent, fast, floating. His heart pounded. They were close, too close. He reached a dead end. An old tower collapsed in front of him. Nowhere to run. But Raylan wasn't just a hero. He was a soldier, a strategist. He pulled out a small detonator and smiled. "Come on, then." As the black-armored hunters floated closer, the charges exploded. The tower crashed down on them. Dust filled the sky. Silence. Raylan fell to his knees, breathing hard. But he wasn't done yet. He still had to get back. The children were waiting. One against many, dark smoke rose behind Raylan as he ran. The explosion had bought him time, but not safety. The alien patrol, the black-armored hunters, were not dead. He could hear them, moving through the rubble. No screams, no anger, just quiet, cold tracking. He ran through the ruins, his body aching, his head pounding. Every step felt like it might be his last. The city was waking up, not with life, but with machines. As he moved through the streets, old defense bots powered on, damaged, half-blind, but still dangerous. Automated voices repeated, "Area unsafe. Leave immediately. Area unsafe. Leave immediately." He ignored them. The only thing that mattered was the children. Deep in the tunnel, Mila kept looking at the scanner. Raylan's signal was blinking, still alive, still moving. But then, another signal. Not 1, not 2. 5 hostile signals. And they were coming toward the tunnel. Mila turned to the others. "They're coming." A boy named Sammy, maybe 8 years old, asked, "Should we hide?" Mila shook her head. "We hide, they find us. We move, we might survive." She grabbed the baby and helped the others pack what little food they had. They began walking deeper into the darkness. Above ground, Raylan reached the ship again. It was untouched, somehow. Maybe the patrol had been fully distracted. He rushed inside and checked the long-range scanner. Then his blood ran cold. 5 new life forms were closing in. On the kids. They weren't just searching randomly. They had tracked the children. "They left a trace," he said aloud. "One of them..." He stopped, looked at the data. Yes, a small tracker chip had been placed on one child's shoe. Likely during the time they were in hiding. He felt anger boil inside him. They were being hunted like prey. But Raylan wasn't going to let that happen. He opened a secret compartment inside the ship and pulled out a black case. Inside it was a stealth armor suit, experimental, illegal, but powerful. "You said not to interfere," he whispered, thinking of his old commanders. "But I'm human first, soldier second." He put on the suit. It wrapped around his body like living shadow. Silent, strong, invisible to most sensors. He loaded his pack with medkits, pulse mines, smoke shells, and his last working drone. Then he left the ship again. This time, to become the hunter. Meanwhile, the children reached an old station platform. It was dark, flooded, and cold, but it had a tunnel leading away. North, just like Raylan's map showed. They moved quietly, but it wasn't quiet behind them. A soft humming sound began, not mechanical, not wind, like breathing, but with no lungs. Sammy turned and froze. A black figure floated silently in the distance. Mila pushed the kids forward. "Run! Do not look back." They ran into the north tunnel. Mila stayed behind for 1 second. She picked up an old metal pipe. Her hands shook, but she raised it. "Come on," she whispered. But the figure didn't attack. Instead, it stopped, and from its back a silver orb floated out, fast. Too fast. It flew past Mila, straight toward the others. A tracker drone. Above ground, Raylan's drone caught the movement. They're marking them again. He activated his suit's boost thrusters and jumped across buildings, running fast and silent. Then he sent a command, hijack signal, reverse tracking. His drone intercepted the orb's signal and flipped it. Now the hunters thought the kids were going deeper underground. But in truth, Mila had already led them into an old service pipe. He smiled. "One against many," he said. But they never studied human tricks. One by one, he picked them off. The first hunter was isolated, floating down a street. Raylan dropped from a rooftop, planted a mine on its back, and vanished. The explosion was silent, sharp, and deadly. The Mao second tried to scan the tunnels. Raylan blinded it with a flash grenade and used the shadows to disable its sensors. He didn't fight to kill. He fought to protect, to outsmart, to delay. But time was running out. Underground, Mila and the kids found a small shelter room inside the pipes. It was cold and cramped, but hidden. She made them rest. Then Sammy looked up. "Why are they chasing us?" Mila didn't answer at first. Then she said, "Because they're afraid." "Afraid of us?" She nodded slowly. "We're the future, and they know it." Suddenly the lights flickered. The scanner beeped. One last hunter was coming, fast. Raylan saw the signal too. The strongest one. The leader. It was heading straight for the kids, no more hiding, no more tricks. He sprinted down the tunnel, suit lights blinking red, battery low, only one chance. He reached the junction just as the hunter found the kids hiding. Place the black figure raised its hand. A blade of pure energy formed. The children screamed. Raylan jumped in from the side, tackled the hunter, and the two crashed into the wall. They fought in silence. No words, no screams. Just speed, violence, sparks. Raylan's suit cracked. The hunter slashed across his chest. He fell. The hunter turned back to the kids. Mila grabbed the tracker drone and held it high. "You want it?" she shouted. The hunter paused. She threw it into a corner. Raylan, bleeding but alive, raised a detonator. Surprise, the corner exploded in light. When the smoke cleared, the hunter was gone. Mila ran to Raylan, helped him sit up. "You came back," she said. "I always will," he whispered. The lost one, the tunnels were silent again, but the silence didn't feel safe. Commander Raylan sat against the cold tunnel wall, breathing hard. His armor was damaged. Blood ran down his side. His eyes stayed open only because he had to. The children sat near him, quiet, watching. Mila held the baby, her arms shaking from fear and cold. But Raylan wasn't thinking about the wound, he was thinking about the missing one. "Where is Sammy?" he asked suddenly, voice sharp. Mila looked around. He was gone. 10 minutes earlier, during the attack, Sammy had run into a side pipe, trying to draw the enemy's attention. He thought he was helping. But now, he was alone. And something was following him. The boy ran through the narrow pipe. His flashlight flickered. Water dripped from the ceiling. He called out, "Raylan? Mila?" No answer. Then from behind, a soft tapping, not footsteps. Claws. He turned around slowly. The tunnel was empty, but the sound continued. From above. He looked up. Nothing. But then, a small round eye blinked in the darkness. Sammy screamed and ran. Back in the main tunnel, Raylan forced himself to stand. I have to go after him, he said. Mila grabbed his arm. You're hurt. You won't make it. He's just a kid, Raylan said. He ran to protect you. I won't let that be the end of him. The AI in his wristband spoke. One suit function remains. Emergency auto-stim available. Will boost strength temporarily. Side effects: exhaustion, damage, possible unconsciousness. Raylan smiled weakly. Perfect. Do it. The injector hissed. Warmth spread through his body. Pain faded. Energy returned, but it was borrowed time. He looked at Mila. Protect the others. If I don't return in 1 hour, get to the surface. Head north. Find the resistance. Then he disappeared into the shadows. Sammy crawled through a broken wall into what looked like an old underground lab. Strange machines stood silently, covered in dust and wires. Some still blinked with faint blue lights. He backed into a corner, breathing fast. He wasn't alone. A low growl echoed through the room, but when the hunter stepped into the light, Sammy gasped. It was different. This one looked older. Its armor was scratched. One arm was missing. Its faceplate was cracked, revealing part of an alien face underneath. Its skin was dark gray. Its eyes, not full of hate, but pain. It stared at him, breathing heavily. Sammy whispered, "What are you?" The creature didn't speak, but it raised its hand and showed a small locket. Inside was a photo, a human child. Your child? Sammy asked. The creature nodded slowly, but then, behind it, another hunter appeared. This one was not broken. This one was here to finish the job. It raised its weapon. The old hunter turned and stood in front of Sammy, blocking the shot. The beam fired, hit the wall, and the old one collapsed. Sammy screamed. But before the second hunter could fire again, Raylan arrived. He hit the enemy hard, blasting it with a pulse round. Then he grabbed Sammy and ran. Hold on, kid, he said. You did enough, Sammy sobbed. It saved me. The old one. It wasn't evil. Raylan nodded. Not all monsters are monsters. Not all heroes look like us. As they reached the tunnel exit, the ceiling shook. Enemy reinforcements were coming. Too many. Raylan looked at Sammy. You go back to Mila. Follow the north tunnel. Don't wait for me. What about you? I'll make sure they follow me. Not you. Raylan turned, activated the last of his smoke grenades, and vanished into the collapsing ruins. Mila saw Sammy return, covered in dust and tears. Where's Raylan? She asked. He didn't answer. He just cried. Deep underground, Raylan ran through a forgotten tunnel. A map flashed on his wrist display. He wasn't running blind. He had a plan. He found it. A room marked Core Stabilizer. An old alien fusion chamber, still active. He placed a small device on the wall, a beacon. The hunters followed, fast and silent. As the last one entered, Raylan hit the control panel. Override chamber. Start meltdown. The AI screamed, Warning! Core unstable. Raylan looked at the last hunter. This is your end. He turned and ran. The explosion was felt across the ruins. Far away, Mila and the children saw the fire rise into the sky, like a volcano. The ground shook, Sammy whispered. He did it. He stopped them. But Mila didn't smile. She looked at the smoke and said nothing. Later that night, they found a safe building near the surface. Mila turned on the beacon scanner. No signal from Raylan. Just silence. But on the wind, far in the distance, she heard a voice, a whisper. I always come back. Her eyes filled with tears. The chase through the stars a week passed. The children were safe for now. Mila, Sammy, the baby, and the others had reached the surface with help from an old resistance outpost hidden in the mountains. Food, warmth, clean water. It felt like a dream. But the sky was not safe. They watched from a bunker window as enemy ships patrolled above. Large, black, silent. They weren't searching for soldiers. They were looking for children. And still, no word from Raylan. Every night Mila turned on the signal scanner. Every night just static. But on the 8th night something changed. The scanner beeped. A signal. Weak, encrypted, but alive. It was him. In deep space, in a cargo hold of an abandoned mining vessel, Raylan opened his eyes. Pain hit him first. Then cold. Then confusion. He looked around. Broken pipes, flickering lights, blood on his arm. How long had he been here? His memory was fractured. He remembered the explosion, the core meltdown, and the collapsing tunnels. He thought he had died. But someone or something had dragged him out. He sat up and saw a mark on the wall, written in alien symbols, but with a child's drawing under it, a human child. Someone had saved him, but the moment of peace ended quickly. His wrist AI came back online. Warning, enemy fleet inbound. Trajectory suggests search operation. Possible capture zone. Raylan stood, groaning. They know I'm alive. He limped to the control panel and hacked the ship's nav system. The engines were dead, but the jump drive still worked. Barely. He could reach the resistance base. Maybe. But if he did, the enemy would follow. One more chase, he whispered, but this time I lead them away. Back on the mountain base, Mila received the message. This is Raylan. Alive. Injured. In orbit. Enemy tracking me. Do not come for me. I will draw them away. But Mila didn't listen. She looked at Sammy, then at the other children. He came back for us, now it's our turn. The Resistance had an old rusty space shuttle, barely working. You're just kids, the commander argued. You don't know how to fly. But Mila showed him Raylan's flight log, downloaded from his AI. Hours of training data, every trick he knew. We don't have to fight, she said. We just have to reach him. Reluctantly, they were allowed to go. The shuttle lifted off with a loud roar. Inside, Mila sat at the controls. Sammy watched the radar. Enemy ships on. Scan 6 of them, fast. Mila smiled grimly. Then we go faster. In orbit, Raylan used the mining ship's jump drive. The stars bent and twisted. The ship screamed. Then silence. He dropped into an empty part of space. Dark. Cold. No planets. No help. Just a trap. He sent out a false beacon, a decoy message that said he had crash-landed. The enemy took the bait. 6 hunters followed him in their black ships. Raylan had just one plan left. He powered the reactor to overload, not to explode, to attract the enemies. Come find me, he whispered. But then, on his screen, another ship appeared, the shuttle, and inside, the children. No, he gasped. They came for me. The enemy picked up the second ship instantly. They changed course. They'll catch them first, Raylan muttered. He hacked the controls, tried to restart the mining ship's engines. Nothing. Then the AI gave him one last option. Manual control. Raylan opened a service hatch, crawled into the reactor room, and began rerouting power by hand. His skin burned from heat, alarms blared. But the engines roared to life. He turned the ship toward the enemy fleet. In the shuttle, Mila saw the 6 black ships closing in. They're too fast, Sammy said. They'll reach us in seconds. We don't need seconds, Mila replied. We need Raylan. Then they saw it. The mining ship, flying at full speed, glowing, hot. It slammed into the enemy formation like a hammer. Explosions tore across the sky. 1, 2, 3 ships down. The rest scattered. Raylan's voice came over comms, weak but alive. Run. Now. Mila hit the jump switch. The shuttle vanished into hyperspace. When they reached the resistance station in orbit, soldiers rushed to help. Mila stepped out of the shuttle. There's a man out there, she said. His name is Raylan, find him. Hours passed, then a message came through. Escape pod found. Life signs weak, but alive. Mila cried for the first time in days. 3 weeks later, on a quiet green hill on Earth, a building opened. Its name, the Raylan Orphan Sanctuary. Inside, children laughed. Outside, a man stood, scarred, tired, but smiling. Commander Raylan. I told you, he said softly. I always come back. New planet. Old Wounds Commander Raylan stood at the edge of a quiet cliff, staring at the stars. 3 weeks had passed since the space chase. His body had healed, but his soul hadn't. Inside the Raylan Orphan Sanctuary, children laughed. Painted walls and planted trees. It was peaceful. Too peaceful because Raylan couldn't stop thinking about what the alien had whispered to him before the reactor meltdown. You're not saving them. You're only delaying the end. What did that mean? Then, one morning, the message came. A transmission. Unknown source. But the voice was familiar. Mila. Raylan, she said. We found something. A planet, unmarked, hidden in the sector where you disappeared. We think it's connected. She sounded different. Not scared. Serious. There's a structure here. It's calling to the children. Raylan left that day. The planet was not on any map. It didn't rotate. It didn't reflect light. It hid itself. When Raylan's ship dropped from hyperspace, he saw it. Dark, quiet, and perfect. Not natural. Engineered. This place wasn't born, he whispered. It was built. He landed near Mila's shuttle. She met him outside, her face pale. The air is clean, she said. The ground is warm, but the sky never changes, and the kids, they hear voices. Raylan looked around. Hills, rivers, trees. Beautiful. Untouched. And yet, nothing moved. No wind, no animals. Just stillness, like a photograph. They walked to the structure Mila had found. An ancient tower, smooth and black with glowing lines pulsing slowly. Alien tech. But inside, it was human-sized. Doors, stairs, even writing. Mixed with ancient human symbols, Raylan ran his hand across the wall. This isn't just alien, he said. It's both. Then the wall lit up. A soft hum filled the air. A voice spoke. Female. Calm. Powerful. Raylan Carver. Earthborn. Protector class. Memory match confirmed. Mila stepped back. What is this? Raylan didn't answer. Because the voice in the tower was his mother's. But his mother died when he was 8. A light opened in the center of the room. It formed a hologram. A young woman, smiling. Same voice. She looked at Raylan like she knew him. If you're seeing this, she said, it means the time has come. The project failed. The war was too fast, too violent. But not all was lost. We sent seeds across the stars. She pointed to a glowing star map. Hundreds of points lit up. Children. Like them. Hidden. Protected. Not just human. Not just alien. Something new. Raylan shook his head. Hybrids. The voice nodded. The next step. Smarter. Stronger. Peaceful. And the hunters? Mila asked. The voice changed. Darker now. They were the first protectors. Then they turned. They feared the future. Feared losing control. So they destroyed it. Raylan closed his eyes. The war hadn't been random. It was a purge. Outside, the children stood near the tower, their eyes glowing faintly. One of them, a boy named Ren, said, I can hear her. Mila knelt beside him. Who? The tower. It remembers me. Raylan turned to Mila. This planet is a vault. It was built to awaken them. Awaken them? How? She asked. Before he could answer, the sky darkened. The ground shook, and from orbit, a ship dropped like a blade. Huge. Black. Burning with red light. A hunter mothership. They had found them. Raylan grabbed his gun. Get the kids inside. But the tower lit up again. Defensive mode active, it said. Energy shields up, pulse cannons online. Mila looked at Raylan. Is the planet protecting us? No, he said. It's protecting them. In the sky, enemy dropships began landing, hundreds of soldiers, but they didn't attack. They waited, because they knew something. They knew Raylan would face a choice. The tower's voice returned. You may save the children. But to do that, the tower must awaken its signal. All hidden planets will respond. The war will begin again. Raylan stood frozen. If he activated the signal, he would start a galactic war. If he didn't, the children would be hunted forever. Mila touched his arm. What do we do? He looked at the kids, looked at the sky. Then he stepped forward, placed his hand on the control crystal and said, no more hiding. The tower lit up with blinding energy. Across the galaxy, hidden planets blinked to life. Vaults opened. Voices awoke. Hybrid children, forgotten, hidden, began to rise. The future had a heartbeat again. And the hunters? They screamed, because they had just lost control. The honor of a hero, the tower had awakened, and so had the galaxy. Across distant stars, the lost children, the hybrids, stirred from sleep. Towers like the one on the hidden planet lit up in every corner of space, sending out a single message: we are alive. But not everyone celebrated. High above, the hunter mothership responded with fire. It sent down its army, hundreds of black-armored warriors, faster and stronger than any human soldier. Inside the mountain-sized ship, a voice spoke, deep, metallic, ancient. Terminate the next generation. Burn the bloodline before it grows. They knew what the children meant. The end of their rule on the ground. Raylan watched the sky light up with fire. Dropships. Missiles. Soundless black shapes slicing through clouds. He turned to Mila, who stood beside the children. You stay with them. Protect the tower. I'll hold the front. She grabbed his arm. You'll be killed. Maybe, he said. But if we fall here, we fall everywhere. He looked down at the smallest child. Ren, the one who heard the tower. This world is yours now. Don't let it die before it begins. Then he turned and walked into the storm. The resistance had sent a call for help. Old fighters, scavenged weapons, patched armor, and yet they came. Humans, aliens, even defected machines. They stood beside Raylan at the edge of the valley, defending. The only path to the tower, someone whispered. We're outnumbered 20-1, Raylan looked forward. Then we fight 20 times harder. The enemy came like shadows with teeth. No screams, no fear, no mercy. The first wave hit like a wave of blades, but the defenders didn't run. Raylan led them, his broken armor shining, in the light of the tower behind them. Each move was precise, each command clear. He knew this war, but even he couldn't stop time. The front line broke. Soldiers fell. The tower shook. Inside the tower, Mila activated its defense grid, pulse cannons, gravity walls, energy shields. But something was wrong. The tower was too old, too damaged. It couldn't hold much longer. Ren cried out. It's asking for a key, someone to finish the sequence. Mila asked, what key? But Ren didn't answer. His eyes were glowing. He was the key. Outside, Raylan was bleeding. He had taken a hit to the shoulder. His leg burned. Smoke filled his lungs. But he kept going. Fighting, commanding, protecting. Then he saw it. The final enemy unit, 10 elite hunters, faster than the others, heading straight for the tower. No more time. Raylan called Mila. They're coming for the core. You have 10 minutes. Less. Mila looked at Ren, who stood near the heart of the tower, his hand on the crystal. We can finish it, she said. We can awaken the full system. Raylan whispered. Then do it. Mila hesitated. But it will burn the tower, she said. It will destroy the planet and it will kill the link. Ren looked at her. I'm ready. Raylan stood in the path of the hunters, alone. He pulled the last explosive from his belt. This isn't just a fight, he whispered. This is the line. The hunters charged. He ran toward them. At the last second, he threw the explosive high into the air. The sky shattered. Fire rained. In the tower, Ren screamed as the energy surged through him. Light exploded outward. Data flowed through stars. Every vault, every child, every hybrid, awakened. Across the galaxy, 1,000 towers sent out one final pulse, and the hunters fell, as if their minds were shattered by the signal. Some screamed, others collapsed, and some simply stopped moving like broken dolls. The war was over, but the planet was dying. The tower had cracked. The ground shook. Mila grabbed the baby and ran toward the exit with the other children. But Ren stayed behind. He turned to the control crystal and whispered, "Tell them, we are not weapons. We are hope." And he was gone. Later, after the fires cooled, after the skies cleared, a ship landed in the valley. Mila walked through the ruins of the battlefield searching. Bodies. Armor. Ashes. Then, a weak signal. She followed it, beneath a broken wing of an enemy ship, buried in stone and steel. She found him, Raylan, alive. Barely. She knelt, lifted him, held him close. He whispered, "Did they make it?" She nodded, tears falling. "You did it." He closed his eyes. "No. We did." Months passed. The galaxy changed. The hunters were gone. The children were free. And at the edge of a peaceful moon, surrounded by fields of stars, stood a place of learning, hope, and healing. The Raylan Institute, built not as a war academy, but as a home for every orphan, every hybrid, every lost soul. Inside, a statue stood tall. Raylan in armor, but not holding a weapon, holding a child. And at the base, the words, "Not hero, not savior, just human."